Roger is asking if we're going to implement more complicated maneuvers. Yeah, for sure. We're gonna get the most accurate parkour experience, right? So pretty much, yeah, everything that the STORROR boys wants to put in, we will. And we still have to decide how do we actually play with the most complicated one, like 180, stuff like that. But yeah, that is the whole point of the game. Yeah, you just need to free flow in the environment using any cool parkour moves that you can think of.
Kind of ties into what we were doing. They're stuck on the floor. So we've been working a bit on precisions. And we set up it's not in this version that Drew's plays, and Drew, you wouldn't be able to do it. Actually, no, it is, but Dado disabled it, so because it's not.
Yeah.
It works, but it doesn't. You just kind of like launch into that position. But yeah, we basically have like the target selecting, and it's like sort of system for you to select where you want to land, and then the distance of the jump will be tailored to that. But obviously, we still just use the regular cat pass or lazy foot or whatever parkour animation, rather than actually a precision animation. So once we have that, we should be able to actually get you guys precisioning to specific spots that you select, and we sort of slow down time, so give you a bit of a chance to select your spot. But basically, what I'm trying to say along the lines of this, there's a lot of, I say, game mechanics that haven't really been explored yet. So like precisions is nothing that's ever been explored in the game. So me and Dada were kind of just for like a day really just trying to figure out what the best way to actually implement it is. So and I think the same will go for things like tic tacs and 180s and stuff. Like it's probably more actually the concept and how we implement it that's gonna be the hardest part of it all. And figuring out a way that it works well and is actually fun to play. Doing it should be fine, but figuring it out is going to be pretty difficult.
Yeah, that makes sense.
This is just a bit sort of unrelated. So like I thought the video you put out, that autumn winter 40s one, that was so sick. Do you find like working with these big corporations or like doing promotions or collaborative videos, do you find it often kills you guys' creative process? Like you don't get the freedom to create how and as if you wish? Because I'm guessing for the STORROR clothing video, that was purely you guys' creative like direction,
totally.
which obviously that came out really cool. Do you find
I think it really depends on the client. Like I think back in the day when we hadn't kind of developed our creative vision or even our brand as much as we have now, and we had a smaller audience, the kind of brands that wanted to work with us were kind of a lot more imposing and like a lot more kind of like, you have to do this and we want to have 10 checks over it. But I think as we've kind of got bigger and established a creative direction for ourselves, like kind of the brand has matured, we have a lot of freedom when we work with clients these days, and so often the best collaborations are when they just go, we're not going to tell you to do anything, you do whatever you want, and we'll help facilitate that, whether it's through, like with Canon was a great example of it, where they basically just said, we want to help you do whatever you want to do and just film it on Canon cameras. And it's like, that's a great kind of collaboration. That's when you get, you know, the best out of our creativity, because nobody knows how to make parkour videos better than we do. And like Simba as well, if you've ever seen that mattress video we did, again, it was like, that's how to do collaborations. They just said like, we have really soft mattresses, do you want to make a video with them? And we were like, hell yeah, can we jump off like the highest stuff we can find? And they were like, do whatever you want. And they didn't even have any edits of that video. So it's like working with those kind of clients who give you that creative freedom. It's just like, that is the best way to do it. So I guess the that's the long answer. The short answer is we tend to get a lot of like we're selective about who we work with, and the people who we do choose to work with tend to give us complete creative freedom. So usually, no. Usually we do quite well on that front.
This world, it's crazy.
Mhm.
Like he can achieve really high level stuff, and everyone wants to see that.
I think like I've always found like, especially in, like just in like athletes in general, and I think it's probably magnified for you guys because you guys are very much in the public eye. But like the psychological impacts of injury, especially if you live every day, and I presume you guys do parkour, like that's your life as well. Like it's
Yeah.
one thing if it's like just a hobby or just like a side sport, but like this is your not only your like your source of income, but it's generally just your lifestyle. And I've always found it like very evident how like psychologically damaging like injury could be. So
Yeah.
I've seen in like seeing in the professional rugby environment, like I know
Mm.
almost an unnerving amount of guys that end up being depressed after injury.
Yeah.
I know one that literally he went just to rock bottom after it because he just wasn't able to play,
Yeah.
because it becomes so. And you get to get to that level at which you're the best at what you do, or you're at that point where you can make a living off of it. You have to almost be somewhat consumed by it, and
Yeah.
to like an element of obsession, and like to
Definitely.
have that just stripped away from you at a moment's notice. It's scary how like damaging it can be, but it's good. It seems like he had a support system of all you guys around him, and obviously the community around him, which definitely it wasn't people's like, whereas it's like, which is another great thing about parkour, like everyone seems super supportive, especially you guys. Whereas like I know other athletes that they have this, and because teams in the corporate world of sports, and like sports like football, rugby, and whatnot, it's like
Yeah.
if you're not providing for the team, they'll just let you go, and that's that. So yeah.
But I think that's the really good thing about Star and what you guys have built. It's almost like if one of you's injured or if one of you can't do parkour right now or you're going through a tough time, it's like the six of you will still carry on. And then when it's someone else's, like having a down day, then all of you are always there to keep things pushing until they're ready to come back. And there's never any like pressure or judgment or anything. I think that's probably part of the success of it, is that you always have each other to rely on, and you're there always to kind of like keep it going.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I don't think like and Sasha, I'm sure knows, like there's no expectation from any of us. It's like if you don't want to get back to parkour, like absolutely you don't need to. He's so talented in so many other ways. Like, and I think since being unable to kind of participate in any of the videos, he's really taken lead on the like cinematic filmmaking and editing side of things, which like we're all forgetting he's also a world-class talent at filmmaking, and so it's like there's no need for him to ever get back to parkour if he doesn't want to. But having said that, like parkour, like David was saying, it's more than just like a fun little thing we do on the side. I think all of us at this stage have sort of grown up like depending on a sport that is so much deeper than just kind of like playing ping pong on the side. It's a sport that's about like challenging yourself as a person and as an individual. And I think when any of us aren't getting that kind of fulfillment from putting ourselves out there, setting a scary challenge and overcoming it, I think it affects us all personally massively. I think for me, like if I go a period without parkour, like I just go weird and I can't describe it. It's like we need parkour at this stage, and I think whether Sasha wants to or not, I don't know, but I think he needs it. I think like at some point, all of us will get to a realization where it's like it's not about whether you want to get into parkour or not. It's like you need it. You have to have that because that's where your kind of sense of person comes from. That's where your achievement and fulfillment comes from, and parkour is a really sick sport. Question for you guys, like, do you think this game or a version of this game would be possible to create 10 years ago or 15 years ago from a technology perspective?
Probably. I just think I think so, yeah. Because what 2021, like 20, if we look at the games that were out in 2011, like you had your first Assassin's Creed or whatnot. So like well, I think Watch Dogs was released in 2012. So you probably had the technology then, and definitely if you look like I'm been doing research on like existing games. There's games like Free Running, the old Prince of Persia's. Like there was the technology to do it. But I think what lacked was the mechanics. So like if you look now, there's some games with some amazing technology, some animating technology. The cinematic quality is all really good, but none of them have the parkour mechanics that are visible in this. Like we're trying to have in this game, because I don't even know why. To be fair, no one ever thought to do it. Like, and it's because I don't really think they had the community like side of it. No one really understood parkour community in terms of like big game dev industries. They always just saw parkour as like running around and doing flips and just jumping. Do you know what I mean? Like not rather than like what it actually can be. So when you don't truly understand parkour itself in terms of like a cultural sense, you just don't think mechanics like precisions and tic tacs and things like that are super important because you're like you know what I mean? It's little stuff like you just want to see people backflipping and doing 360 dive off buildings. So like they could have made it. The tech is there. I just don't think they had the vision or like to actually implement the mechanics for it.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense actually. That's a good answer.
Yes, and also I think like I was in EA when they were doing Mirror's Edge, and I played some of the very early versions. We got some early alpha. It's not even. It's just like the first prototype, really, and it was extremely cool, right? It was there's very smooth camera action, and the girl was rolling and doing all these things, and it was so refreshing, and like the color palette was beautiful, and I thought, wow, yeah, he's doing something cool, strange. And then like the next version that I played, it was like with guns and like some spy story about some bullshit, secret things. I thought, why? How did it go from being a like very cool prototype to the classic? Oh, you do bang, bang, bang. It's just in the Excel spreadsheet, say we need to have guns because guns sells. We need to have the bullshit spy story that makes no sense whatsoever because there is all these games that are like that, and it just becomes just looking at an Excel spreadsheet of what the market wants rather than like there was a great quote from Henry Ford that said I don't ever do marketing research because I cannot ask what people want because they will say a faster horse rather than build the car, right? So and that is, I think that for me is the other reason. I think I think that's sometimes it does that. And one point that I wanted to make is I put in every video that I posted on our YouTube channel, the Hits YouTube channel. There's always somebody that says, "Don't rush this like cyberpunk or whatever. Take your time." And then that comment always gets like 100 likes and stuff like that, and so we just wanted I'm not in any mood of rushing crap out, right? It's like it's gonna be, we're gonna work very hard to make the best thing ever. So that is not even an option for me. So I don't know whether it's this fixation in the video game industry, not in the video game industry, but from the players side of the industry. I've not, to me that is pretty weird. Why would we release a game which is bad? And there is this idea that, oh, you just release the game to make money. No, I mean, we are a small team. We release a bad game, we don't get any money, so that's not even an option. So yeah, that's not gonna happen ever. So yeah, I'm quite good that people really care about it, but yeah, don't worry, we're not gonna release bad games. Yeah, it doesn't even make sense. So.
Question